Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Bored as cringe right now. Let's have an OC thread. Be me working security for government buildings. Beginning of COVID, so everyone working from home. A chill job just pretty much needs to check into locations at specific times. I only work 8 to 4, so it's pretty nice. Would just walk around in absolute silence with all lights on, with the only noise being random electric buzzes. Most days don't see anyone and just chill and read in various abandoned offices between patrols. Don't feel uncomfortable until the second week when I start to hear random noises on my patrol. The company tracks me through a company phone and needs to do specific paths at certain times. Can't walk too fast or else GPS messes up. I always hear noises deep inside of random cubicle areas on the 5th floor, and it's hard to discern where it's from. Just tell myself the random knocks are just building noises. Notice certain office doors would be open even though they were closed when I passed by earlier. Have to make sure they're locked. Continuously locking office doors even though I know I'm the only one that could be in the building. At the end of my second week, I swear I saw someone duck into an open office. Have to go investigate and sure enough find an empty office. On the third week, I hear more noises and what sounds like shuffling feet on my patrols. Walking through a large and long cubicle area where it's hard to see one end from the other. Hear a woman's voice say, "Wow," from far behind. Instantly turn around. No one in the office at all. Too scared and not on patrol, so just leave it. The next day, I was walking in the same area and heard a loud bang and heard the same voice say, "Wow," again. Decide to not be a coward and go investigate it. Again, find an empty office, but notice pens and stuff knocked off the desk. Just continue patrol. Little incidents follow for the next couple weeks. Decide to switch to a better paying site, but need to work one more week there. Working my last shift at my current site. Walking the same patrol and the noises would always come from the same cubicle area. Always brightly lit and can see it's sunny outside, which makes it more unsettling. Banging starts and just keeps going rhythmically. The voice saying, "Wow," just keeps repeating it over and over. Enter the office more annoyed than anything and see the door wide open. As I'm about to enter the office, I realize it hasn't been saying "wow." It's been saying it over and over with no breaks between words. Freaking out but entering the doorway of the office. See what looks like the top of a head with long black hair over the edge of the desk inside the office rocking back and forth. Can't see what it's doing, just see the top of head over the desk. Terrified, and now I'm supposed to find out if it's an intruder. I feel like something is wrong, so just grab the door handle, close the door and lock it behind me. Walk back to patrol route, trying not to go too fast so GPS doesn't screw up. Hear jiggling over the muffled ow now and realize it's trying to open the door again. Walk through patrol while listening to the noise, ready to run. Eventually reach the stairway exit and hear the door finally open as I enter the stairway. Run through the staircase and stand in the first floor lobby area. Wait there expecting to hear it coming for me. Hear nothing and don't leave the lobby or do patrol. Go home and never return to the site again. Later I found out no one was actually checking the patrol logs and I could have just sat in the lobby for like 8 hours. Have other stories from sites, but not as interesting.
Screw it, I'll contribute. I've pre-typed all this into Notepad and I'm gonna make multiple posts. It's a bit long-winded and honestly kind of boring compared to some people's stories. For some backstory, me and my entire family believe we're haunted by a ghost. Don't necessarily think it's suspicious, and there's been a few things that made me think it may even be looking out for us. There's my parents, Mum is from Australia and Dad is from Canada. There's me and 2 older sisters. Oldest sister was born in Canada. Me and my middle sister were born in Australia. We think it haunts my dad specifically as it seems to follow him around. A lot of these stories I've heard from my family members, so they are lacking in details. Sorry about that. The first 2 are things that happened to me, at least the ones I remember clearly. First thing that happened, me, probably 14 or so. It must have been 2010 because I was playing with an iPod Touch I'd gotten for my birthday. House is 2 stories tall. Bottom floor is the parents' room, living area, kitchen, etc. Top level is 3 kids' bedrooms, including mine, and a bathroom and office. Only me and Mum were home. I'd just gotten something from the kitchen and seen my mum sitting in the living room reading. Walk upstairs and go into my room. I'm supposed to be cleaning my room, but I'm just sitting on my bed playing Doodle Jump or something. My room has an L shape, and above my bed there are no shelves or anything. Bed is next to the door, so my back is to the door, but it's kinda to the side so I can see it in my peripheral. Out of nowhere, a balled-up sock hits me in the back of the head with force, as if thrown. I turn around. No one is there. Go downstairs. Mum hasn't moved. It has been maybe 5 minutes since I last saw her. I ask her if she was just upstairs, but she just looks confused and keeps reading. There's also no way she could have gotten up the stairs without me noticing. The 2-step from the stop have a very distinct creak that you can't avoid, and the whole staircase is pretty creaky, and my mum's kind of fat. I went back to my room extremely confused. Like I said, no shelves above the bed, so the sock couldn't have fallen from something, and also it hit me in the back of the head. Hard, for a sock anyway. Come to the conclusion that the family ghost was annoyed I wasn't cleaning my room like I was supposed to. Next story, the details about the creaky stairs come into this one. Be me, maybe 15 or so at this point. Home alone after school, so probably 3:30 p.m. Sitting in my sister's room because she had a TV on her wall. I think I was watching Jeopardy. Not the quiz show, a teen show about aliens or something. All of a sudden, I hear someone start to walk up the stairs. Again, very confused, because I'm certain I'm home alone, and I would have heard the door open. They walk very slowly and very heavily up the stairs. I hear them reach the landing. Staircase is L-shaped, which means they're halfway up. The steps continue up, but go on for way too long. Just too many steps, and they never reach the creaky steps second from the top. Eventually, I'm freaking out, so I yell, "Just leave me alone!" The steps instantly stop. Sitting there, staring at my sister's bedroom door, waiting. Nothing. After a while, I build up courage and sprint down the stairs, grab my dogs from the backyard and go wait at the top of the driveway with them for comfort. My neighbor, who was this weird about 30-year-old lady named Sharon, comes over to see what's going on. I tell her the truth. She suggests she come inside with me until my parents get home. I agree. When we go inside, she starts yelling stuff like, "We're not scared of you!" Get annoyed because I don't want her to piss it off. Nothing happens after that. Those are the two that happened specifically to me. There are a few others, but I kind of dismissed them because I was a kid, like one time laying in bed and I see faces coming out of my wall. I also had an imaginary friend named George who had a sword. Now, personally, I think that was just me being a kid, because I've got a very specific memory from being in preschool and getting jealous that a friend of mine had an imaginary friend, so I invented one, and George was one of the only names I knew. However, I found out years later from my mum that my dad also had an imaginary friend as a kid, also named George, who also had a sword. And apparently I used to sit alone in my room talking to someone. This is one I actually witnessed a few times. The TV in my parents' bedroom would randomly turn on, but not all the way. It was like it went to a loading screen where it was just grey, but you could hear it was powered on. This would never happen if my dad was home, only happened to my mum and maybe once or twice to me if I happened to be walking through. Another thing, me, my mum, and my middle sister are chatting in the living room. From the living room there's a glass sliding door to the deck, and at the other end of the deck is a door to my parents' room. There are light switches for the deck in the room we're in and in my parents' room. As we're talking, the deck lights randomly turn on, but not from the switch in the room we're in. After a few seconds, they turn off again. This repeats maybe twice. Me, mum, and sister are just looking at each other in bewilderment and slight fear. At this point, though, we're all familiar with creepy events, so just ignore it. My dad has lots of stories, which is kind of why we think it's connected to him. When I was maybe 9, my dad moved with my oldest sister to Canada for her to attend high school. While he was there, we didn't experience anything paranormal in Australia, but he experienced a lot. Dad and oldest sister are staying in Grandma's house. I think she may have been in a nursing home at this time, or maybe living at their cabin on the lake. Either way, she wasn't there. Sister was out with friends. Dad was at the pub or something. They both get home at relatively the same time, around midnight, I guess. Dad sees my sister go downstairs to bed, and as he's getting ready for bed, he sees a blonde woman walk into the bathroom and close the door. Assumes this is a friend of my sister's who regularly stayed over. She's in the bathroom for a while, so Dad just pisses in the backyard, then goes to bed. In the morning, he asks my sister where her friend was. My sister just as confused. No one stayed over that night. The mystery blonde woman is unaccounted for. Very close to that previous event, my sister was in bed trying to fall asleep. She hears someone slowly walk down the stairs and into her room. Her bedroom was in the basement. She's got a plastic rubbish bag next to her bed. Hears the steps walk up to it, then the crinkle of them stepping on it. She's under her blankets, panicking. After a while, a weight presses down onto her bed. Then it disappears, not like the weight lifted, but as if it simply disappeared. Pretty sure she was home alone that night, but not certain. Cousins, sister and friends are having a party at a family-owned cabin on the lake. Cabin was owned by an uncle or something, someone I've never met. We've got a big family and they're very influential in this part of Canada, politics, etc. The rules of the party were no one was allowed inside the cabin. It was all locked up by my dad. Everyone's just partying in the yard down to the waterline. Dad was hanging around when he saw someone in the upstairs window. Asking my cousin who's in there, he says there shouldn't be anyone. Dad goes to check. The doors are all still locked. Clears the houses. No one is there. The bedroom that the window was in is empty. Shrugs it off and goes back to the party. Happens again. Rinse and repeat. Throughout the night, he keeps seeing someone in the window and ends up ignoring it, assuming it's the family ghost. This one is very sparse in detail because Dad refuses to talk about it. This was when Mum and Dad first got married before having any kids. Dad comes home from a night out, sees Mum levitating about 2 feet above the bed. Confused and scared, he walks up and pushes her back down. She wakes up, sees him and says hi, completely unaware of what just happened. He only told her like 20 years later. As for why I think this ghost might be friendly, there are multiple times in my life where I should have died, but it felt like something took control of my body or pushed me, and I narrowly avoided death. That's all I can remember for now. Since moving out of home, 2015, I've never experienced anything paranormal, not while alone anyway. Definitely some creepy weird things, but they can probably be explained away, as they were all in public and so minor I've forgotten them.
Some not-so-quick background info to set the scene. Trust me, it's important. I work at a college bookstore with my wife and boss. The building is super old and is basically just a house with a converted interior. We've had people come in and say they used to live here. On 2 separate occasions, we had people come in and tell us how this place was a squatting home for homeless people and meth heads. Apparently a ton of people died here from overdoses. Anyway, the inside is basically a long hallway that's about 20 feet wide. When you walk in, there's a counter facing the door about 20 feet away. Directly behind the counter, there is a room to the left that is shaped like a T, with a big room in the middle and 2 smaller rooms on either side. Past the counter, about 50 feet back, is the office room, which contains stairs to downstairs where we have more books. Okay, enough of that. Be me 3 years ago. We are fixing to close down. I'm putting the books that students decided they didn't want to buy back on the shelves. I get to a book that I don't know where it goes. Standing at the counter facing the door. Pretty sure I saw my wife walk into the right room of the T. She should know where the book goes. So I yell at her and ask where it goes. No response. Pissed off because I know she heard me. We couldn't be more than 20 feet apart and only 1 room separates us. I turn to yell again and I see her walk into the left room. She looked a little hazy, like I was looking at her reflection in a slightly foggy mirror, but it was dark and I thought nothing of it. No light source in the middle room, only windows, and it was dark out. She didn't respond, so I, angry husband, stomped into the room and asked why the hell isn't she answering me. The room is empty. Okay, JPEG. Decide that I imagined her walking in there, so I turn back towards the room to the right. It's empty. I am 100% sure I saw her come back here, and there's no way she could have left without me seeing her walk past me. I am visibly confused. Boss and wife walk back there and ask who the hell I'm yelling at. Explain what happened. They joke, saying it was a ghost. Hey, I'm an idiot. Demand to watch security footage. Nobody ever walks back there except me. Am I dumb? GIF. Fast forward about a week. Working downstairs and texting a friend who is half Navajo Indian about what happened. She takes it very seriously and starts asking me questions about it, like urgent questions. Mention that sometimes there's a very faint smell of rotten eggs every now and then, but it's probably from the Sonic across the street throwing out their unused eggs. Breakfast all day. She freaks out. Tell me to get around someone else right now. I'm kinda laughing at her. I say if it's anything, it's just a friendly ghost. But then the next text comes through. Anon, that's not a friendly ghost, that's a demon. I don't think anything about it for about 0.3 seconds. Then my neck gets super hot and my ear really burns. Like it feels like I've had a heating pad on my neck and ear for a few hours. It wasn't gradual, it was instantly hot. I tell her this and she says, "It's trying to make you stop reading. It was trying to trick you into being comfortable around it." Now my shoulders and upper back feel fatigued, like I've been carrying around weight all day and they are ready to give way. I can't hear it, but I definitely understand that I'm being told to shut up. Something is very angry and is right behind me, like mouth to my ear. I'm spooked solid. A light flickers, probably unrelated seeing as it always happens, but that was it. I'm in total flight mode. I book it up the stairs and relay what happened to my wife and boss. They both think I'm kidding till they see how terrified I am. Make them go down there. They come back up and tell me that they don't want to go down there anymore. Their ears burn and they feel uneasy. Go home that day. Go to sleep. Wake up in the middle of the night looking right at an old man's face with a sinister smile. Nothing else was weird about it. It was about 2 feet away. Then it spiraled into itself and disappeared. Fast forward to the next night. Fall asleep on the couch. Wake up to me falling on my ass. I had a nap, ran down the hallway towards our bedroom and slammed into my wife. She said I was screaming like I was being murdered. It woke her up at 3 in the morning. Go to work that day. Doing things downstairs because, well, I gotta do my job. My shoulders get fatigued and I hear this voice talking. Don't recognize the language, sounded Latin. Sounded like the serpent at the end of the God of War 4 trailer. Pitch and everything. Well, screw this. Nope. Book it back upstairs. Right before the stairs, I feel like I have spider webs on my face. Try to wipe them off, but there is nothing there. Explain to my boss that I'm not going down there alone anymore. She sure as hell isn't going to go down there. Ask my half-Navajo friend what to do about it. She says to walk down there and confidently say, "I am a child of Jesus and he commands you to leave," or something like that. Don't remember the exact words. Go down there and say it. Oh, it did not like that. My chest hurts now, like I go from confident to yes daddy, sorry daddy, real quick, go back upstairs and call friend. Explain that it didn't work. Try praying. Sir. Either that or get a priest. Can't get a priest, people will think we are crazy. Go down and drop to my knees and pray hard as hell. Looking down. Eyes closed. Feel something over the top of me. It is for sure pissed. Like jam a log in my urethra pissed. I don't remember when, but at some point it just stops. Ear and neck burning just stops. Fatigue goes away instantly. Chest stops hurting. Angry presence is gone, all just like that. There 1 second and gone the next. Notice a couple windows were cracked. Maybe unrelated, but they definitely didn't used to be there. Presence comes back every now and then. Usually when I talk about it or think about it for a continued amount of time. Like right now, I'm supposed to go do something real quick downstairs, but I'm definitely just gonna act like I forgot. Usually the presence goes away after a few weeks. It even goes away whenever I repeat the words that it originally got pissed at, but it's not instantly gone. It's like it just kind of turns it down a notch until it's gone altogether. Haven't been followed home since either. That's basically it. Anyone knows if this really was what she said it was, or know what the hell was going on.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more green texts will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.
Remember to check out the Odyssey page in the description for a second archive of the channel's videos.
There's also a Rumble archive as a backup.